Good evening. It is Monday, December 17, 2018 at 6 p.m. This meeting is held in the Neil Shapiro Center of Performing Arts at Winthrop High School and will be recorded live. Ms. Hames, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Fabiano?
Here.
Mr. Matucci?
Yep.
Ms. Powell?
Present.
Ms. Swope? Here. Mr. Vecchia?
Present.
Mr. Perrin?
Here.
Mr. Capabianco?
Here. President Vecchia, please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Certainly. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any public comment this evening? All right, hearing none. Ms. Howard, I understand that we have a citation you'd like to confer for the Massachusetts Association of Superintendents Certificate of Academic Excellence Award.
Yes, please. So, as the superintendent, the Massachusetts Association of Superintendents allows me the privilege this year of selecting a student to award the Certificate of Academic Excellence to. As I thought about the privilege, I needed to take a moment to think about what academic excellence really meant to me as your superintendent. Was it just about grades, standardized test scores, AP classes, perhaps dual enrollment, or the number of colleges that you've been accepted to? The more I thought about the meaning of academic excellence as it relates to this award that I will give to a senior, the more I found myself thinking about excellence as the journey of how you got from where you were to where you are today. A senior getting ready to graduate from high school and begin your future, whether that's going on to college or continuing to play hockey, or without going on to the military, or perhaps going on to work. I decided to choose a student whose journey encompasses many of the qualities that I believe are necessary to be successful throughout and beyond high school. Some of these qualities are internal motivation, strong leadership skills, commitment, perseverance, respect, being giving, a giving person, humble, being kind, being passionate, being patient, and being honest. Christopher Finn is an honor roll student and a member of the National Honor Society. He is a peer mentor, a student athlete, and team captain of both tennis and hockey. He's a member of the National Honor Society, Stuco, and the Yearbook Committee. Chris has all of these special qualities, and of utmost importance is that they exist in the classroom, in the community, on the ice, on the tennis court, and at home with his family. Internal motivation and perseverance are very difficult to teach, but easy to recognize. When Chris broke his arm last season, he still stayed focused, supported his team, and as Coach Dale put it, was front and center for his teammates throughout the entire season. He worked hard all summer to prepare to return this season very fittingly as the captain of the hockey team. Chris's giving and patient personality has deemed him as the epitome of what a peer mentor should be, according to life skills teacher, Mr. John Cross. I have witnessed Chris working within the life skills program, and he's clearly comfortable in his role, never too shy to have lunch with a group of students or just make one of the students in the life skills class laugh. He continues to give by volunteering with Relay a Life, WinArc, Walk for Hunger. Chris's humble and kind way is truly what separates him from most students. He can fool you on the ice if you were to confuse his quiet demeanor with his passion for winning. Couple all of this with his ability to keep his grades at the honor roll level and be a pretty good big brother and little brother. And now you can see why Chris Finn was my vote. So Chris, I want to present you with this Certificate of Academic Excellence to Christopher Martin Finn, having duly qualified under the standards prescribed by the Mass Association of School Superintendents, is hereby awarded the Certificate of Academic Excellence, in witness whereof the seal of the association and the signature of the superintendent of schools. So congratulations. And congratulations to his parents. In full disclosure, I was both of his parents' teacher when they were in school. I started teaching when I was 11. And so that is why they had me. So it's an honor and privilege to see two of my former students raise their own children to the standards that I think we worked on when you guys were in 10th grade, and I was your biology teacher, and taught you a few other subjects along the road. So when this comes full circle, it's really weird, I'm not going to lie. You know, it's a little surreal. And the whole genetic cloning thing, because that's exactly what you looked like at that age. So I congratulate you as parents. It's awesome to have kids who have all kinds of different stuff going on. You know, the athletic stuff, the community, you know, the life skills pieces, as you all know, is near and dear to my heart. And going into Mr. Cross's class and seeing people working with our students, just being so super comfortable, coming out into the cafeteria, never letting anybody sit alone at lunch, you know, walking through the hallways, making sure everyone's comfortable in the school. You're a great role model. Hopefully your little sister will watch that. I know your older sister was not far behind you when she was here as well, so nice job, Finn family.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now you can go home and do your homework. So we'll allow you to go home because I know they have homework. All right.
Congratulations. Very well deserved.
Thank you very much.
Moving on, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the December 3rd, 2018 meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Powell. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? One abstention. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. We do have a few financial and business procedures this evening. Warrant SVW 1910 in the amount of $114,831.12. Do I have a motion to approve the warrant?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Fabiano, seconded by Vice Chair Perrin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstains? The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. We do have a payroll warrant SPW 19-8 in the amount of $699,311.60. Do I have a motion to approve the payroll warrant? So moved by Mrs. Swope. Do I have a second by President Vecchia? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions?
Abstain.
2 abstentions. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. And we do not have any budget transfers. We do have some generous donations this evening. Do we have to vote to accept the donation? We received a $250 donation from the Margaret Winthrop Rebecca Lodge number 153. Do I have a motion to approve the donation? Motion by Mr. Matucci, seconded by President Vecchia. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it. We received a $1,000 donation from the Viking Pride Foundation for the WHS Robotics Club. Do I have a motion to approve the donation? Motion by Vice Chair Perrin, seconded by President Vecchia. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it. And we also have a $1,000 donation from Dr. Anthony Castonis via the Mike Ruzione's Winthrop Charities for the WHS Life Skills Program and a $2,000 donation for WHS Drama. Motion to approve the donation.
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Powell,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Matucci. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted.
You have one more donation that's not in your packet that came in today, so I would like to know if we're able to put that on as an accepted donation tonight, and I can read you what that is.
Absolutely.
Are we set with that?
Yep.
So this afternoon, we had a visit from a gentleman by the name of Roger Oliveira. He is the owner of the Center Cafe.
Saw that on
It was an exciting meeting. Anytime somebody knocks on your door and says there's somebody who would like to see you, it always creates a sense of anxiety, but this day it was pretty good. So Mr. Oliveira came in, and he had a dolly with him that had boxes on the dolly. So I wasn't sure what he was dropping off. This is his 10th year anniversary as the owner of Cafe Delight. I'm sorry, Center Cafe in the middle of the center. And as an appreciation to the community, he wanted to donate $15 per member of the Winthrop Winthrop Public Schools, which included 438 donations. So 438 gift cards of $15 a piece for our staff. And his point was that he wanted to show the 10 years that he has been in the community and everything the community has given to him. He felt as though that was something that he wanted to do. So I was taken back. Usually when somebody's delivering you something and they don't have an appointment, It's not always a happy thing. So it was very nice of him to do that. And it's my understanding he also went down to the to the town manager's office and made a donation at the town manager's office as well. So we thank Mr. Roger Oliveira for doing that. And so this would be your acceptance of a donation in the $15 gift cards for the entire staff of the Winthrop Public Schools. Those will be handed out by the principals once they've been accepted.
Motion to accept.
Motion by Mr. Matucci, seconded by Mrs. Swope. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it. And just want to thank everyone for those donations. And Ms. Hames, I was wondering if you could assist us with preparing thank you letters from the school committee. Thank you. We do have 2 buildings and grounds requests this evening, one from Jessica Gordon's Academy of Performing Arts Dance Recital, and one for the Winthrop Lodge of Elks District Hoop Shoot.
Motion, we take them both together?
Motion by Mr. Perrin.
Second.
And to take together, second by Mr. Matucci. And I believe the Lodge Elks, we waived the rental fee, right, the hoop shoe?
I think it's just the custodian.
They paid, all right, the custodial fee, I'm sorry. So, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it. Moving on, subcommittee report. We had an athletic subcommittee last week. Mr. Fabiano.
I'm going to pass it on to Gus. He might have
Mr.
some
Matucci.
more information on that subcommittee.
What occurred at that meeting? I was unable to attend.
It was pretty, non-eventful. We discussed some things about some coaching. We discussed some things about some banquet issues that we had, and some ice time for the JV hockey team, and everything seems to be resolved.
Thank you. Moving on, Ms. Howard, Superintendent's Report.
Yes. Just a quick update on enrollment. So each month we get the enrollment figures. The purpose of that, number one, is to keep track of the students that we have, but secondarily to help us with planning and moving forward. We'll be using the October 1 enrollment as well as the current enrollment as we get closer to budgeting season when we're looking at staffing projections for next year. So as of right now, kindergarten, which people have been quite interested in, there are 159 students presently in kindergarten. Grade 3 is our smallest group of students with 132 students. Grade 5 and 7 are our largest with 165 in grade 5 and 162 in grade 7. We're working on looking at a 13-year enrollment case study along with the leadership team to look at the trends in enrollment and help us predict as we move forward with budgeting. Under athletics, I have boys basketball starting their season 0-2. They're a young team. They're very competitive in their first 2 games, and they've lost to the very talented Malden Catholic and Beverly. Girls basketball opened a season with a win over Beverly. Girls hockey is 2-0. Boys hockey is 2-1. They beat Portland, Maine, and the Northeast Regional Vocational School. The boys and girls track are both 1-1 and beating Lynn English. Gymnastics opens up their season with a home meet during the holiday break where they bring on Medford and Malden, and that'll be on the 27th. Co-oping with Lynn, we have 5 swimmers who will be competing this winter. If you've never watched a swim meet, I had the pleasure of doing that several times when my daughter was involved in one of the first co-ops that we had with Lynn English. It's a great athletic sport that I never thought I could watch or understand, but they are fun to watch and super competitive. Playground over at the Cummings School, just quickly, we met with MRC, which is the Martano Recreation Company, and they have come out to look at the playground and give us an additional bid on resurfacing and also looking at our equipment to see if we need full replacement or if we can add to the equipment we have and just do the surface. So they're going to be getting back to us with 2 quotes, one for a completely new park and another for just a resurfacing and fixing of the materials we have. Once we have all of that information together, we'll have another subcommittee meeting with Buildings and Grounds to talk about next steps and sort of reconvene and get a sense of where we're headed with our thought process. Let's see, we have technology. I met with Retrofit. Retrofit is our current technology firm that we use that deals with all of our backup and recovery systems and all of our internet systems. They keep track of all of our Chromebooks and teacher laptops. So their contract is running out at the end of this school year. They currently manage town side as well as the school side. Interesting to note, and you learn, the more and more I look through contracts, the more I learn. The middle school, high school contract for backup and disaster recovery, as well as the internet, that has been covered as a 3-year piece of the new building. So when we built the new schools, there were many of our larger things like the boilers, the technology, a lot of things had warranties, and for technology, there was 3 years coverage paid for as part of the new building project. The third year ends at the end of this school year. So that will be an additional cost opening up for FY20 that the school district will realize in their budget. So we're working on numbers for that so that we are clear in our budget proposal why that is a new cost to the budget, but not a new cost to the district overall. So the school building project had funded it up until the end of this school year, and then we'll take that additional cost on. Let's see. We had our first major budget planning meeting, and it's a strategy meeting with the leadership team, principals, the athletic director, PPS director, and facilities director, looking at designing budgetary needs from a different perspective this year. So we spent 4.5 hours looking at all new documents that I'm going to be requesting of anybody who is responsible for overseeing any portion of the budget, which would be principals, technology, facilities management, and athletics. It was a pretty intense meeting because a lot of it is new to our principals. We have 3 or 4 more meetings, and it's really what it is, a budget planning process to outline what the needs are of the school district, make sure they're tied to the school improvement plans and goals and the district's strategic plan and the goals that we have, and looking at things in a priority fashion. And also going through and looking at the curriculum that we have, the books that we have, and kind of tightening up a little bit on the aging out of some of our books so that we can begin to build in rollover plans for technology as well as materials, supplies, durables, consumables. I'm learning all kinds of new terminology, and then teaching that terminology to the teachers. I think the biggest piece, the biggest takeaway for me in the whole process is going to be one, the tie-in to the school improvement plans and to the district strategic plan, but more importantly, the tie-in to how the Department of Education wants everything laid out and to create things that are a little bit easier for us to follow and then be able to keep track over a long period of time. So hopefully we won't have to dig for things and torture poor Susan to go through file after file to help us keep track of things that we had done 6 or 7 years ago, making sure we have a good plan to make sure that we can keep track of everything that we spend. So for curriculum, Laurie Gallivan, who is our Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction, is going to come into a January meeting. She has many updates to provide you with. We are working on Smart EDU, which is a professional development and teacher engagement planning process, but also keeping track of professional development activities, which will help us with our budget in determining when folks are getting close to jumping a lane because they're going to receive another degree. So it certainly is going to help feed into our budget planning process for the future. And it also helps us with our teachers' IPDIPs, which are their individual professional development plans. In order for teachers to recertify, principals have to have a running account of the professional development activities that teachers are engaged in to sort of prove that they have been making progress towards attaining their relicensure. So we wanted to make sure that that was memorialized, so we're working on a program called Smart EDU, which will help us track that in a more open fashion. Also with curriculum, we have completed staff training at the middle school and high school level around suicide prevention. So We had done that in September. It's been done for a few years in a row. We've used a couple of different programs. Minding Your Mind and QRP are two of the systems that we most recently used. Our school psychologist, Chrissy Burns, as well as adjustment counselors Ben Semino, Megan Noster, and Nikki Dine, have run those programs for our teaching staff to ensure that they're comfortable with the signs of students who may be thinking about suicide or who may be talking about suicide, as well as identifying students who have heard others talking about suicide, thinking about suicide. So the goal has been to make teachers comfortable with the conversation, but also to make them aware of what the appropriate reaction would be when students are having those thoughts or those discussions. And so that's been completed at both of those levels. I believe through CASA and through the survey that we did, as well as through many of the events that go on day to day at both middle school and high school, teachers are feeling, as well as administration, that they would like to see some more. They'd like to see some more support around that. We have continued throughout this school year already since September, dealing with individual student cases, but also supporting teachers. So we've seen a rise in teachers looking for more professional development and support. So the school psychologist and adjustment counselors are working on a rollout for not only teacher support, because if our teachers are needing the support, we feel strongly that our parents also need a level of support in professional development around signs that they may notice and where to turn to. So working with CASA, Leanna Rizzioni, you heard us talk a couple of weeks ago that we wanted to bring the third piece of the pie into that, which was families. So there is a group of staff members working together to identify what may be the best approach with our parents, and speaking with our parents as well to see if there are certain things that they would like. I do know the conversation has to be open, and it has to be continuous, and it has to be more than once. We continue in our blocks of student engagement time to be able to address some of those needs, but we feel as though it needs to be taken up a notch. So more to come on that, and Laurie will be bringing some of that information to the curriculum meeting. And for students, Project Bethlehem, Mike Nickerson, they raise money for families during the holiday season at the high school. Both the Cummings School and the middle school had their holiday fair and raised quite a bit of money to help with families in need during the holiday season. And so the principals are responsible to figure out which families are in need and to reach out to families who may not necessarily reach out, and sometimes we just know, and so we just recognize families without them having to reach out or us to reach out to them. There was an incredible show of a holiday character at the Cummings School. Santa showed up and helped with pictures for our students, and so shout out to Santa wherever you are for doing that for our students. And Beauty and the Beast was this past weekend here, and another amazing show, another amazing display of the talent we have in the Winthrop Public Schools. Lots of folks showed up. I think the students had a great time, and lots of good feedback. From what I understand, Facebook was blowing up with folks commending our middle school group of kids who are taking right after our high school students. And as of right now, that would be it.
Any personnel?
So personnel, yes. Under personnel, we don't have any appointments right now. We do have a resignation of a teacher, special education teacher at the Gorman Fort Banks for personal reasons. So she had to leave us, and we have posted that. It's a difficult position to fill, and it's a sensitive position to fill, and it requires somebody in the classroom who has a lot of experience and very specific skills in dealing with students with autism. So we have worked with the New England Center for Children, reaching out to them to see if they had any thoughts for us or any folks that they could send to us. As of right now, we had 2 interviews this week. I believe we're going to offer the position to one of the 2 candidates, and in the meantime, and probably throughout the transition through the winter, we'll have a BCBA, a board-certified behavioral analyst, come out and do some additional support in that classroom. the students, not only is change not their best friend, change in the middle of the school year is very difficult. So, and it's difficult to bring somebody up to speed while they're in the middle of that particular level of teaching. 7 students in the classroom, all of individual programs, and pretty intensive needs. So Jen O'Connell and Julie Fodiatis and Andrea O'Leary are on top of that. But if you do see some increase in the VCBA bills from New England Center for Children, it's completely necessary in my eyes to make sure that the students don't miss a beat in that classroom during this transition. So we have posted that position. As you can see, we have no retirements at this time and no leave of absences that I am aware of.
Thank you, Mrs. Howard. Moving on with the meeting, new business.
New business. We have 3 first readings of various policies: school admissions, admission of resident students, assignment of students to schools. I make a motion to waive the first reading.
Motion by Mr. Perrin, seconded by Mr. Matucci. All in favor of waiving the first reading for those 3 new business items, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Any public comment? None. Public relations? Mr. Vecchia?
No, just job well done with Beauty and the Beast. It was an excellent show. Congratulations.
Beauty and the Beast also, I wrote Miss Daly about this because when you have 106 students working a production and it's all student-run, and you only have 400-plus students in the middle school, that's a pretty impressive group. And having sat through about 28 years of these, I can tell you how hard it is to do. And I was so pleased that both with, of course, the high school production, but to think that the junior high kids could pull this off too was pretty impressive. So hats off to Miss Daly. She did a fabulous job, and so did the kids.
Matucci? Mr. Fabiano?
The Ms. Gallagher from the Student Council, she's been reaching out to the community to see if we can get some more donations for some kids that can't quite afford the Washington D.C. trip. So if anybody's interested in donating to help out these individuals, you could send it to the Winthrop Middle School, or if you understand Venmo.
Yeah.
I don't. You can make a donation that way as well, but you could certainly send a check to the Winthrop Middle School and attention Ms. Gallagher, and I'm sure she'll get it, and we appreciate it. And one other thing quickly, the big guy's birthday's on Wednesday, Frankie, so I gotta say happy birthday to him. He'll be happy to hear that, and thank you.
Awesome.
Just happy birthday, Frankie.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Frankie.
So speaking of drama, and never missing a beat, the Winthrop High School Drama Society is getting ready to do their dinner theater that's actually sponsored by the Drama Parents Association up at Prince Pasta. That's January 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th. Tickets often sell out, so if you can get your tickets early, that would be great. I believe that the address is WHS Dinner Theater, THEATRE @gmail.com.
Thank you.
So I will say, from one Hall of Famer to the other, happy birthday, Frankie Fabiano.
Hey.
So I'm not losing that opportunity at all.
So I would like to make a motion to enter executive session for the purpose to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargain or litigation, and also with the anticipation that the meeting will adjourn from executive session.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Matucci. All in favor, please signify by
It has
saying
to be a
aye.
roll call vote.
Oh, roll call. All right, Ms. Hames, you please call the roll.
Yes, Mr. Fabiano?
Yep.
Mr. Matucci?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes.
Ms. Swope?
Yes.
Mr. Vecchia?
Yes.
Mr. Perrin?
Yes.
Mr. Capabianco?
Yes. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted.